Right, let's see if this is actually working today. Uh, there we go. We have audio and video, my friends. We're doing very, very well today. So I need to share this link out to a couple of people just to make them aware of what is going on. Give me a second there, guys. I'm gonna put in the link, and we're gonna post it to the public MyGamesteam forum as well. There we go. So, my friends, welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is safe and well. So, my friends, bit of an impromptu stream today. We are going to basically we're going to do we're going to talk a little bit about the next project from MyGamesteam. Um, this is the Fendt Katana. Okay. So I've got a couple of videos queued up here. We're going to take a look at some files as well. So basically, the Fendt Katana. Um, it's based on the base game Giants Fendt Katana. Okay. It is also based on a couple of mods. There's a mod hub version of the Fendt Katana, and the original modder is actually listed as well, if I can find his name, which is, where is his name? GEFD25, right? So basically, he put out a version of the Fendt Katana. He put out the Katana 850. It kind of had object changes where you could switch from the 650 to the 850. He did an excellent job with the mod. Basically, then a couple of other guys. Then we had Felix and Agrabasti. They then took that mod, and they basically added in. They took it apart in Blender, and they added. They created some of the simple IC functionality. So, for example, as I said, they separated certain parts in Blender, which was the doors here, or the panels. So in the real world, my friends, these panels open up to reveal the engine, so you can actually work on the the interior of it and stuff like that. So that is one of the panels there. If I just hide that, you can see the interior of this thing. We have another panel here. If I hide that, so we'll just kind of just go through it, and we'll hide the various panels. All right. So there is your 4 panels that were separated in Blender by 2 of the modders. They created some new decals for the 850. I believe, at least I believe they did, or it was based on the GEFD25 mod. But anyways, so yeah, they brought it into Blender. They separated out the panels, but unfortunately, they never, it was listed as a beta mod, but they never got around to actually finishing it. So I brought this mod to the attention of MyGamesteam, and basically we started work on the mod today, and we're going to be doing we're going to be fixing some of the work that was in a beta state, and making it work properly. But we're also going to be doing a lot more work to the mod, much more than we originally anticipated. So I'm going to show you a couple of the videos here from the Fendt Katana. Now I've muted this. Now let me try and get you kind of a shot here. So let's watch a bit of a video. You can see, look, see how the way the panel. So there's a handle on the door. Okay. He pulls it upwards, and you can actually see here there is a mechanism. So this is held by so there's kind of a lever arm, and there's a suspension piece here as well, as a hydraulic suspension piece. So the door, it moves outwards, right? You can see how the rear door opens up. So if I freeze that there, you can see, look. So there's the rear door here, right? And there are a couple of piston pieces here, right, that hold it in place. So the side panels then here, there's a whole arm section here, a kind of a lever arm, and then there's kind of a suspension pieces holding it in place. So the animation, or in the real world, the doors open up, or the side panels open up very differently than, we'll say, what the blender job has done here. So if I put back on the panel here, right? So the way the modders had done it, in terms of what they did was it basically opened up like this. See that? So it swung upwards, but it doesn't actually function like that in the real on the mod, you know. Or actually, what they did was, if I remember correctly, what they did was it swung outwards like this, or it was like this, but it was some kind of rotation like that. Basically, the guys who did the mod, the animation that they implemented doesn't match how the real world Fendt Katana actually operates. You know what I mean? So to that end, my friends, MyGamesteam is busy at the moment in Blender. He has to design these pieces in Blender, so the doors will actually open up properly, and and are representative of the real world Fendt Katana. So he has to create all these pieces in Blender here. He has to create all these hydraulic pieces, these hydraulic arms. So they all have to be made. This rear door has to be separated in Blender, right? So it can open. And then there's a couple of other pieces as well that we're going to be doing as well. So I've got a picture here. Why doesn't that open? So I've got a picture here. No, that's not it. Open with. I wonder why that no. So look, so this is a picture of the real world Fendt Katana, right? So they're on the rear of the vehicle, which would be located down here, right? So it's this area here, right? There is a compartment that opens for a storage area. So you can put a toolbox in there, or you could put spare batteries, or def, or AdBlue, that type of thing. So this actually is on a hinge. There's a couple of hinges here, right? There's a hinge here and there's a hinge here, right? So it opens in this direction, right? So it opens outwards in that direction. So what MyGamesteam is going to do, hopefully, because I've actually looked at this in Giant's editor, because it's blank inside here at the moment. Look, there's nothing in here. So what he's hopefully going to do is he's going to separate this piece here in Blender, right? And basically he's going to we're going to have an animation, so this will actually open up, right? So there'll be like a simple IC functionality. You'll click on the simple ICX, and then this piece here will open outwards, like the picture here. And basically there will be like a storage box, and we'll have something already in there, like a toolbox, or a battery, or an AdBlue canister, or something like that. So yeah, that's kind of one of the things that we're going to do as well. We're going to be taking this piece apart in Blender, and we're going to be putting a simple IC functionality on this. So the rear panel here, the rear door, is going to be separated in Blender, and it's going to open up just like the real world vehicle. Also, another thing we're going to be doing is, you might see here at the moment, my friends, the engine is missing. So we've done that for a reason. One of the things we talked about was reducing the poly count, because once we start adding stuff, Dicker Sourlander, how are you, sir? How are things? Thank you for tuning in, my friend. I appreciate that. Hope you're doing well, sir. Yeah, we're having a little conversation about the next project from MyGamesteam, which is the Fendt Katana 850. So what we've done here, my friends, is we've taken out the engine. So this is going to be a separate i3D element, right? So this engine will be loaded in dynamically into the mod, right? So by having the engine section separate, it allows us to reduce the poly count, and it also allows us to be able to paint this engine area manually. So basically, the coloring at the moment of this engine doesn't really match the real world vehicle. As you can see here, there's a lot of it that's grey, right? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to start painting individual parts in the engine to more accurately match the real world Fendt Katana. We also have the fan here. Look at the fan, right? So that fan is going to be separated in Blender, okay, and it will spin. So what we will do is the engine, the rotation of the engine fan will it'll be slower in kind of a what's the term I'm looking for? Would say if you turn on the engine, right, the fan speed will be slower compared to when you'd engage the you'd have the header, the forge header on, and the RPM of the fan will be variable depending on the you know the uh, the current state of the vehicle and that type of thing. So the engine fan speed will be a dynamic and variable and that type of thing. We're also going to be doing stuff. We're going to be adding more detail inside the engine itself. Going to be adding more decals to the interior of this. We're also going to start try and get a bit more detail. So you can see some decals around on here, that type of thing. There are other decals as well. So if we move to this part here, right, this is kind of what the engine looks like. It looks quite different, would say, on the Giants model compared to the real world Katana. So that is kind of what we're going to try and do. We're going to try and replicate as best we can the doors opening. So these side panels up here open as well. They're on a hinge. If I can try and find I think it's on the other video. If I can try and find it, that is. One of the things I want to do as well, MyGamesteam, if you're watching, sir, um, there's another piece on the front. Look at this, look. Right? So you see how you can see the PTO here? Okay. Now, if we look on the 3D model here again, right? So that is actually here, right? So look, so you have the PTO here, but it's hidden by this piece here, right? So what I would like to do, MyGamesteam, sir, now I know it's a little bit, you have a lot of work to do, but eventually what I'd like to do is maybe separate this piece here also in Blender. And what we could do then is we could walk up to the front of the vehicle and there would be a white X. So you click on the white X and the visibility of this part would disappear. So you'd be able to see the PTO inside. So it would be like a kind of a maintenance type of thing, you know what I mean? So that's another idea I had for that as well. I've been working a little bit on the decals here. So basically, I've started working on the decals here to try to match the real world Fendt Katana. And if we look at some of the images, I can show you what I'm going for. So you can look over here, my friends. So here is the actual decals that are on the back of the Katana here, look. So we have the battery, we have this logo, and we have this logo. So we are going to try and replicate that on the Katana here. There's also a decal up here as well. Let me show you this. Where is the other picture? So if you look over here, my friends, there is basically this is like a warning sign for like an exit vehicle. I have already created that as well. So if I go back to the Katana and I show you on the new decal sheet, you can actually see here, my friends, that I have it, look. So it's all ready to rock and roll here, look. So another thing we're going to be doing is this Fendt logo here, right? So we have a part on the seat that doesn't match the real world Fendt Katana. So you can see that logo there. Okay, we're going to be removing this logo on the seat and we're going to be replacing it with this, right? Or or even just this piece here. I haven't decided where I'm going to have the full thing or just this piece at the bottom. I haven't decided yet, but we'll see how things go. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to be looking over a lot of we're going to take a lot of screenshots. We're going to look at real world pictures and videos of the Fendt Katana, and we're going to try and as much as possible, change the mod to more accurately reflect, the real world Fendt Katana, So yeah, we're going to try and put yeah, we're going to be putting more decals in the engine, the interior as well, because you know, obviously the real world vehicle. So I mean, the reason Giants didn't do it is because the basically the engine wasn't visible. You know what I mean? The these panels were not removable. By would say the base game Giants mod. Obviously someone has done this. But we're going to take it a step further. You know what I mean? So we're going to be adding more decals in the interior of this as well. There's also an option in the real world for a crop sensor, and it actually goes up around here, right? So I've saved all the details for that as well. I've saved the website. I have pictures of it, and basically we're going to try and replicate the crop sensor as well for that, right? So this Katana project is going to require quite a bit of Blender work, and it's a lot more involved and detailed than we'll say than you know. Once we started looking at real world videos and pictures, it kind of took on a life of its own. So it's much more involved and in depth than we kind of originally anticipated. So it's going to take some time, basically. You know what I mean? It is not going to be a quick job because all these pieces need to be separated in Blender. All the hinges and everything for these panels need to be created from scratch. That's going to take time. They all have to be designed in Blender, and then they all have to be put into Giants Editor, and the animations have to be tested. And then, of course, for the doors, we're going to need, sounds for the opening and closing animations as well. So the doors will actually have sounds when you open and close as well. So there's a lot involved in it. But I've been doing a lot of the preliminary work in terms of the XML work and that type of thing. So I have a lot. All of the specs are accurate to the real world Fendt Katana. All the specs. The fill volumes are all accurate and that type of thing. The weight of the vehicle has been adjusted as well. So the real world, the Katana 850 is 17.5 ton, and I've increased the mass of the vehicle to kind of reflect that as well. So, for example, the specifications here, the diesel capacity in the real world is 1,215 liters, DEF is 190 liters, and there is a optional silage additive tank which is 215 liters. We're going to be having real world prices as well. So the actual cost of the vehicle is going to reflect the real world. It's actually over 500,000 euros. So I'm going to change the price of this. So yeah, we're going to try and make it as accurate to the real world vehicle as humanly possible. So what I want to do now is because I have separated the engine. So I've already separated the engine here, right? So it's a separate i3D element. I want to check and see if it's working, basically. So we're going to load in the mod here and see have I done it right. And if I haven't done it right, MyGamesteam will do it right, anyways. So I guess we could have a little bit of a conversation, Dick or Sour, about the Fendt Xylon. So as you know, my friend, I know that you have been wanting to get your hands on the Xylon. So it is a Patreon exclusive at the current time for MyGamesteam members. But I'm hoping, so we're working on version 1.1. There's a few little things with 1.0 that needs, let's say, adjustment. You know, you might have seen some of the videos and that type of thing. So it needs a little bit of work. So I think with 1.1, it'll be a better mod. Because we're going to, MyGamesteam is going to design a front loader console for it, you know, from scratch. And it's going to provide evidence that he designed it as well. So basically, you'll be able to put front loader attachers, you know, like tools, you know, front loader tools. What am I talking about? You know, these things. So you'd be able to put, you know, a front loader tool on this thing, right? On the Xylon. So I think it would probably be better to wait for version 1.1. So let me see if that engine actually loaded in. It didn't, did it? It did not. The i3 could not be found. Okay. So how did I screw that up? Did I rename it wrong? I probably bloody did. Watch this. So this is a good example of how easily you can screw things up. So it should be under dynamically loaded parts. See that? Look. It's literally just a capital letter. What an idiot. So it's engine and engine. So you capital letters, you moron. All right. So we'll put that back in again. So that's a good example of how easy it is to screw things up. All right, we'll load that in again. Well, Dicker, I mean, I don't want you to pay for the mod. I think it's wrong, you know, because you know you actually contributed to the mod. So you know, I prefer just to make sure you get the file yourself. So what I would suggest, sir, is wait for 1.1. And I think with 1.1, you know, there should be, you know, I'm trying to convince MyGamesteam to make the Xylon public, you know. And, but, you know, we have to work out a few things to make that happen, you know. So hopefully we can come to some kind of arrangement and at least make... Did that load in? Let's check the log. It did. Yay! So that worked. So I added a few colors actually to this thing. I want to check them. So that's so I added a few more colors to this thing. Look, I want to check the colors here and see if they're... Okay. So some of those colors I'm going to take out. I'm going to take out the yellow and I'm going to take out that. I thought they were going to be... I'm looking for shades of green, basically. Oh, look at that one, look. So that's a metallic green. Look at that one. Not nice? Oh, I like that one. So yeah, what I'm hoping to do, Dicker, is for version 1.1 of the Fendt Xylon, I'm going to try and convince him to make it publicly available. I'm going to try and work out some deal with him to make it publicly available. But you know, it's not nailed down yet. But hopefully we can get it. Hopefully we can get it sorted out. So yeah, the rim colors. Let's check the rim colors. I don't like the beige. I like the grey, so I'm going to take out the beige. So you know, there's going to be very, very limited selection of color options on this thing. What I'm going to do here with the Fendt is it's going to be shades of green, right? So we're not going to be having any pinks or purple or anything like that. It's going to be just shades of green, right? And with the rim color, I don't know, with some kind of basic colors as well. So that worked. So the engine is loaded in now. Right. Okay. So this is how the original mod was done, right? So see the way it swings upwards. Okay. But in the real world, as I said, there are you know, hinges. Basically there's nothing attached to this thing whatsoever at the moment. Right? They're just floating. So the panels have no hinges. You know what I mean? There's no way, they're not physically connected to the body of the vehicle. So that's what we're doing at the moment. MyGamesteam is designing hinges for the small panels here and for these large panels up here. And he's separating this rear door in Blender, so it will open up as well. And these pieces down here will be separated in Blender as well. So yeah, that engine now has loaded in. Very nice. Do we have any movement on the... I need to get a forage harvester header to check that. So let's unfold that. So does anything spin inside in the engine? Is what I'm looking for. Do any of the belts or anything spin? Let me get the original vehicle. I wonder... I thought those fans internally spun. Does nothing spin in this thing? I really thought those belts spun inside. That could be something that we could add as well. If there are no moving parts inside, like the engines or the belts or the pulleys, we could potentially add that as well. But I just want to check it here. So that's spinning. No, I don't see anything spinning internally. That's kind of disappointing. Let's check the log again. So the log is fine. Okay, so that worked. That's all I wanted to do. Just wanted to quickly test that to make sure it was working. So that loaded in. So we've basically tested that. So we can dynamically load in the engine. That's good. That's what I wanted to see. Now, let me look at this engine again and see what else is going on here. So you have these pieces at the back. All right. So you see all these pieces here in MyGamesteam, look. So I was thinking, none of this stuff spins, MyGamesteam. Could we animate these parts here to spin when you turn on the engine? So you have the belts, you have the the pulleys, that type of thing. Do you think MyGamesteam it would be possible to animate some of these parts as well, so all these pieces actually spin when you turn on the engine? I wonder if that's possible as well, sir. I actually thought they did spin, but apparently they don't. I'll have to check that again. So yeah, that might be an idea as well. So yeah, there's quite of a, I've got quite a few ideas and that type of thing, for the to add new features and functionality to the Katana and that type of thing, This is the crop sensor. Look, so you see that? Look. So there's a crop sensor on top of the pipe here, right? So I'm going to try and replicate this as well. This is Photonics. So they actually have a website, I believe. So yeah, there's a website that I have saved as well for these guys, these IT Photonics. So I've got a few pictures of this as well. So we're going to try and replicate this this crop sensor as well. This is an option. It doesn't come as standard with the the Katana in the real world, but it's an optional thing that people can people can buy and that type of thing. So that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of where we are at with the Fendt Katana. It's very very early days. As I said, we literally only started working on the file today. It's gonna be a while. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at, my friends. So yeah, that's kind of a brief overview of the next project that MyGamesteam has in the works, which will be the kind of the fully realized version of the Fendt Katana 850. A lot of simple IC functionality. Um, I don't know if maybe we might consider, the dashboard live mod that's on the mod hub, where the internal monitors have more functionality and that type of thing, and displays are more involved. I don't know. We may consider adding some of the dashboard live features and functions into the Katana as well, but we'll probably leave that towards the end and see how things go. But for right now, my friends, that's kind of a little bit of an overview of the next project from MyGamesteam, which is the Fendt Katana 850. And I think once it's all kind of done and everything's kind of built into it, it's going to be a very very nice mod. Right, my friends, we're going to leave it there for now. A short stream from me. So listen, thank you all very much for tuning in. I appreciate it, and God willing, we shall see you again. Take care. Bye bye.